Hey y'all! Pokemon Red using only Ekans was very frustrating, so this time I wanted to use one of my favorite Pokemon. So, next up is beating Pokemon Red using only one Krabby. And as usual, the rules are, I can only use Krabby in battle, and I can't use any items in battle. By the way, if you like this kind of content and want to see more, be sure to subscribe and check out more of the videos on my channel. Krabby is one of those Pokemon that Ash used in the anime that I think is very underrated. It had so much personality, and as a Kingler, it totally rocked in the Indigo League. In this game though, Krabby has some difficult stats. Attack and defense are both great, but Krabby's best moves are all special, so that doesn't really help. Heck, we can always just use Double Team if we're in a pinch. No? Okay, alright, let's do this. Off at Professor Oak's lab, I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Squirtle with Krabby so that our rival will pick Bulbasaur. By the end of the game, the rival will have a Venusaur that knows Razor Leaf, a move which always crits, and considering Krabby's awful special stat, it's going to be a real problem. I wanted to give Krabby a really great nickname, something clever and really punny, but I couldn't think of anything, so instead, I just used a clawful pun. Krabby starts off with only Bubble and Leer, so this is both good news and bad news. The good news is, beating Brock won't require a huge grinding session in Viridian Forest like usual. Bad news is that our first rival battle with Bubs is pretty much impossible to win. I'm showing you the best attempt here, and I did try many times, but just even so, Krabby doesn't cut the mustard with such a weak move as Bubble against a resisted grass type. Never thought I'd say, for once I actually missed Tackle. But that's okay, and I don't mind, because now it's the best part of doing any of these runs, which is of course, getting to battle Brock at minimum battles while we already have a water move. Krabby has such low special and Bubble is weak that it's still not a 1-hit KO, but we're able to win, and that's all that matters. After traversing Mount Moon, we take on the rival Bubs in Cerulean City, and Krabby now has Vice Grip, a physical normal move which actually uses Krabby's good attack stat. Vice Grip really helps to speed up the pace of these battles. Having to fight with only Bubble kind of made everything drag on for ages. You know it's bad when I was using Bide as a way to speed up the battles. Misty is up next, and despite the fact that we resist her water moves, the difference in our respective special stats means that Krabby still takes a ton of damage. Thankfully though, she also wastes turns going for X defense and tackles. Vice Grip does really saucy damage, so we're able to pick up the win with our little crab cake. Imagine being the water type gym leader and losing to an hors d'oeuvre. Aboard the SS Hand, we pick up the TM for Body Slam and teach it to Krabby. And it's a great move for a Pokemon like Krabby with a high attack stat. Body Slam makes quick work of all of Bubs' Pokemon, but Kadabra devastates us with a Confusion, and Ivysaur could easily destroy us had it gone for Vine Whip, but, you know, waste not, want not. There's not a shot in the dark we can beat Lieutenant Surge at this point, so instead I go to the Pokemon Tower in Lavender Town to take on the rival Bubs once again. Body Slam is still pinching holes through his entire team, but the Kadabra and Ivysaur are still huge problems. This time, Kadabra doesn't get the chance to use Confusion, but Ivysaur lands a massive Vine Whip for 2/3 of our health. Seriously, this is getting too close for comfort. Surge is still not possible, and neither is Erica, so instead I take on Giovanni in the Rocket Game Corner hideout. He's a total pushover for Krabby, and we make quick work of his team, and Giovanni isn't going to pose any sort of threat during the rest of this run, so from now on, when he shows up, I'm instead going to talk about delicious seafood dishes instead. At this point, I think Surge is finally a fair fight for our little crab, so we're all buttered up and ready to rumble. Oh wait, Krabby's faster than everything, and one-shots Surge's whole team. Huh. Well, Surge is finally out of the way, but Erica's still not even remotely possible thanks to Razor Leaf, so instead I take on Koga. And it might not be apparent from the footage, but Krabby is really struggling with these important battles. I had to fight Koga over and over before eventually winning, and I can't as easily go beat the rival because his Venusaur basically makes him stronger than Erica. And after many tries, I'm eventually able to win, but only because Krabby is able to paraflinch the Weezing. Just like the TM we get for winning, that strategy was pretty toxic. During the grind to level up for Erica, Krabby learned Harden, and then I thought, I'll go take on the rival in the Self-Company building. I knock out the Pidgeot and Gyarados post-haste, and then I use the Growlithe as an opportunity to spam Harden. Apologies to my longtime viewers, but for those who don't know, in this game, whenever your stats are modified, the badge boosts you get are reapplied. So Harden gives us enough attack and speed to outspeed the Venusaur and knock it out in a single hit. Badge boosting against Erica with Harden isn't a viable strategy, because Victory Bell will just knock us out with Razor Leaf right away. In the meantime, we have to battle Giovanni, so I would like to take this opportunity to talk about an underrated seafood dish, paella. It's such a good dish, yet I feel like nobody ever talks about it. Seriously, if you've never had paella, find a good restaurant near you that serves it, and then thank me later. With both Giovanni and my next DoorDash order out of the way, I decide to grab my crab hammer and take a crack at Sabrina's gym. Much like the inside of a crab leg, Sabrina's Pokemon are soft and squishy, easily taken out with strong physical attacks. Man, I'm having way too much fun writing this script. Well, we've put off Erica long enough, and now we're actually so high leveled, we just outspeed the Victory Bell and knock it out. I don't like that leveling up was the only viable solution, but Krabby has one of the worst HP and special stats in the game, so cut me some slack at the Crab Shack, Jack. Now it's time for Blaine, and he doesn't stand a chance against our little Krabby kid. Not because we're a water type, but because of the overwhelming power of Swords Dance. Yeah, it turns out when you have a fantastic attack boosting move like Swords Dance and you give it to a Pokemon with a good attack stat, you get Krabby, Destroyer of Worlds, Harbinger of Pain. And even better, because it modifies our attack stat, we can use it for Badge Boost! Now it's time for Krabby to take on Giovanni in the Viridian City Gym for the final gym badge, which means it's my last opportunity to talk about delicious seafood. To tell you the truth, while I was raised mostly on traditional East Coast seafood like Maryland blue crabs and the accompanying hush puppies, I much prefer Japanese seafood dishes. In fact, sushi is hands down my favorite food ever. I realize the thought of uncooked seafood seems somewhat unappetizing to certain people, but I just can't get enough of it. The rival fight with Bubs is up next, and without Swords Dance, there's literally no way we'd be able to win without just leveling up super high, which I never want to do. The attack boosts from Swords Dance are wonderful, but the badge boosts to everything else are also critical. The key here is to wait until Krabby levels up during the battle before we get our Swords Dances. We need badge boosts in order to outspeed the Alakazam and Venusaur, and for those who are new or don't remember, leveling up during the battle resets the additional badge boost gained by modifying our stats. While badge boosting, managing level ups are crucial. Here are the stats going into the Elite Four. I know the moveset's weird because we have good attack and horrible special, but we still need water and ice type coverage in order to win. Crab Hammer is Krabby's signature move, and it has an increased critical hit ratio, which normally we don't want when we're relying on badge boost, because critical hits ignore badge boost. But here, we actually do want critical hits, because Krabby's special stat is so low that a critical hit is still stronger even though it ignores badge boost. Well, I've waffled on long enough, as it were, so let's just get right into the Elite Four battle, and oh, we're almost halfway done. Oh, that's right, because Swords Dance is just that powerful. We don't even need badge boost for this battle. Krabby is just that strong because of Swords Dance. Well, Bruno's up next, and against Krabby, his Pokemon don't stand a chance in Shell. Normally, during the Elite Four, you will see me using rare candies between battles to reset our experience, so that we don't level up during the battle and lose our badge boost, but I'm not doing that here. Krabby doesn't need badge boost for these first two battles, because we're relying mostly on the raw power of Krabby's attack stat to cleave through the opposing Pokemon. And even when we do have to use special moves, Onix is so weak it doesn't matter. Seriously, Bruno doesn't stand a shuckin' chance. And with that, the fun ends with Bruno. Next up is Agatha, and as you may know, she is just the absolute worst. We can't hit her ghost with Body Slam, and they all have high specials, so our pitiful Crab Hammer and Ice Beam barely do any damage. So I tried this battle way too many times with different strategies before eventually landing on one that actually works. First up, we use all of our rare candies but two. We need all the power we can get, but I need to leave at least two so that we can reset our experience before each of the following two battles, for badge boost purposes. So here's what has to happen. I delete Ice Beam and replace it with Mimic, which will let us copy Wing Attack from the Golbat, and we need to somehow get up 3 Swords Dances so that the pitifully weak Wing Attack can actually damage her Ghost. This is difficult because on top of her typical and annoying tactics of using Hypnosis and Confuse Ray, the Golbat likes to remove our stat boost with Haze. And on top of all that, we have to mimic Wing Attack, and Agatha loves to randomly switch her Pokemon, so often I go to copy Wing Attack only for her to switch into Gengar, and effectively render the battle impossible. I'm showing you the battle where we actually won, but my god, I had to battle Agatha over 100 times before we finally got the win. But I guess I really can't complain, because besides Agatha, the rest of this run has been an absolute breeze. Next up is the final Elite Four member Lance, and right away, I go ahead and replace Mimic with Blizzard. I never wanted to get rid of Ice Beam in the first place, but there was literally no way to beat Agatha without wing attacks, so it was kind of necessary. I heal up and use a rare candy to reset our experience for the purposes of badge boost. The battle with Lance is actually kind of tough. The Gyarados does big damage with Hyper Beam, and we need to badge boost in order to outspeed the Aerodactyl, so there's this weird situation where we want Gyarados to Hyper Beam and then use Leer, because if it uses Leer and then Hyper Beam, we're totally steamed. Once we get our Swords Dances up though, the only real threat is the Dragonite, which can actually survive a boosted Body Slam, and if it doesn't get fully paralyzed, it can knock us out with Hyper Beam. Oh wait, we have Blizzard. That's 4 times super effective. Neato. Well, finally, it's time to take on the champion, our rival Bubs. And there's 2 main challenges here. I level up with Krabby, just to reset our stat experience, and that's problem number 1. There's no way that we can avoid leveling up in this battle. The second problem is the Pidgeot. It knows Mirror Move, and because we like to boost with Swords Dance, a lot of times it will also copy Swords Dance, and that can be problematic. But usually that doesn't happen, we get our boost, and we blast through all of Bubs' Pokemon, but I just know we're going to level up right before the Venusaur, lose all of our speed, and get totally wrecked. Man, it's just such a shame to have to go through Agatha all over again and deal with that nonsense when we're just so very close. Well, there's no helping it, I guess. Oh, wait, we outspeed. We outspeed! How do we outspeed? I literally have no idea how we outspeed Venusaur, but then again, I don't care. I'll take it. Well, with that, the challenge is over, and I'm super glad I got to do one of these runs with Krabby. And I never expected it to be this much fun, nor did I expect for Krabby to be such an absolute beast of a Pokemon. Seriously, it had most of the deck stacked against it, but decent attack stat and Swords Dance is pretty great in this game. Well, as always, I want to thank you for making it to the end of this video. These videos are a lot of fun, but also a lot of work, so I really do appreciate it. There's a playlist on my channel where you can find the rest of my Pokemon challenge videos if you want to check those out as well. There's plenty for you to check out, to put on while you go to sleep, to put on in the background when you want to zone out, or just to put on to hear my beautiful dulcet tones. And if you like this kind of content and want to see more, subscribe and enable notifications so you'll know right away the next time one of these episodes is uploaded. And let me know in the comments what other Pokemon you want to see, and I'll probably do it. Next week is Christmas, so I'll be doing Pokemon Red using only one Jinx. Santa's little helper, more like Santa's little nightmare. Anyways, until next time,